Hello, my name is Alex, and today I will be translating the on-bot Java-based code I wrote for Team 12651 into a blocks program for the use of the Colony High School classroom robotics teams. So first of all, I'm going to make some variables. They're going to be, one of them is going to be I'm going to start simple. I'm not going to do, actually I am going to do variables. I'm going to make a team variable. I'm going to make a location variable because my autonomous code uses both of these to determine where you start at. So I have the same program run for both the red team and the blue team, and you set which team you're on using the controller, the A, B, X, Y buttons. So I need a loop, which right here, loop. Repeat while, so at the beginning, before, actually I don't need this repeat while, I don't need, because this is an autonomous op mode. So I'm going to set that up. I've already named it color sensor example, and at the beginning here, I'm going to repeat while the variable team. I need a logic piece. While this equals this is an empty string. So I'm going to have variable set location, right click, duplicate. So I can also set the team to, I want a text. Since true if provided text is empty. Length of true pages. So I'm going to set both of these to empty strings. I'm going to repeat while team is an empty string. We're going to grab the gamepad. Actually, I'm going to grab a logic. So if, else, and I don't really need the else on the end. So we're just going to do that. We're going to grab a gamepad. On the gamepad, if you notice, the blue button is the if you look on the gamepad, the B button is red, so we're going to make it so when you press the B button, if you press the B button, you will set the variable team to the string. Let me get that out of the way. The text, we're going to set it to string, we're going to set it to red. We're going to duplicate this, put it under here, and set this word to blue. I will duplicate this, and if you press the X button, you'll be on the blue team. Because on the controller, the X button is blue and the B button is red. So now we have a way of knowing which team we're on. So let's do the same thing for where you sit. I'm going to put a 250 millisecond sleep here, so that way you don't accidentally press the same button twice, but that won't matter because we're going to use Y and A for this one. We're going to set the location instead of the team to if we are far and we are close. This logic works perfectly, but we need to do some telemetry. It's under here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay. So we're going to add data right here. And that data is going to be team. We're going to put in the team variable. So let's grab it from here, drop it there. So that will add the data for which team you're on. So this is important because it just is. So the reason why we have this sleep here is so that way we don't accidentally press the wrong button, or we press the button twice and trigger the thing for the next set instead of the same set as before. Okay, so now we're going to add some niceties. We're going to put a block here that says the key is going to be empty, but no, it should not be. This isn't going to work because we don't have that. Never mind. Hold on. I do have a telemetry text. Okay, we're going to use the telemetry text, and we're going to set the text to please press B for red team and X for blue team. And now I'm going to duplicate this and put it down here under this. I'm going to put team in the key. I'm going to once again copy the team from here and drop it there. Now we need to add another bit of telemetry data here. It's going to be empty for this, and this one is going to not be here. The reason why we have the key be empty is because we don't have one of OnBot's good functions, which is add line. We can do in OnBot, you can do telemetry.addLine in order to add a line of telemetry to something. Unfortunately, we don't have that in blocks, so instead we have to do like this. Here we're going to do press Y for location far, press X for location near. And the near and far, actually I'll reword this. Y for far from the relic recovery mat. And press A for near the relic recovery mat. So this is so we know exactly where on the field we are. We won't use this until later. What we need to do now is actually add some blocks that do stuff. We're going to start with some logic. We're going to do if and else. And the reason why we do this is because we're going to check what team we're on. So we need text. Do this, and there's a logic. This equals that. We're going to put this, and we're going to check if we're on the team red. Nope. I'll just grab this from there because I'm lazy. So what we're going to do is if we're on the red team, we're going to do another thing. We're going to grab another logic. And this is actually quite simple here. We're going to grab from our sensors, the rev color range sensor. We're just going to grab this one here. This says .red, but you can actually change it to the blue as well. The logic behind this is if the red is greater than the blue, then we do something. So we'll just grab this here, right click, duplicate, and drop it here. And we're going to compare red to blue. And we need to compare it using this symbol. So if the team is red, then if the rev sensor's red is greater than the sensor's blue, then we need to do something. So let's grab a motor. So we'll do something simple. We'll set one of our motors to go left, and I'm going to duplicate that so that way we can set it to do the opposite as well, -1. There we go. So this will set the left compliant wheel to go left or right based on the color of the sensor. On our robot, the sensor is stored on a servo, so we need to set the position of the servo before we do something. So I will do that here. So we will set the gym servo to 0. Is what 0 is our Our gym servo needs to go to 0.04 in order to be aligned with the gyms. The way that the set position works is it says go set the position, and then it moves on to the next line of code. This means that you have to wait for the sensor to move. What we do is we wait for 150 milliseconds, or 15,000. So 1.5 seconds we wait after we say go to actually read the color sensor. So I'm going to duplicate this. It will run when we're on the other team. Find my comment.
No, that could have saved you right there. See, the timing on this is weird because like it gets to the bottom and then it's like a timer before it like actually.
This block runs when on blue. So we're going to use the same comparison, but we're going, actually no, we're not going to use the same comparison. We're going to use the opposite comparison. And the reason why we do the opposite comparison is these two can be in the same order. So after we move the wheels, we need to wait for the wheels to actually move. So we're going to wait a simple 1 second. Yeah, sure. 1 second. We're going to wait 1 second after we tell the wheels to go before we stop them. So we're going to grab another set wheel power. I'll put it right here, and I'll set its power to 0. At this point, we also need to pull the gym servo back up off of the floor because you don't want that thing sitting on the ground, right? So let me just reference my code to see where I do that. I set the position of it to 0.9. And now I can move on with the rest of my autonomous. This is just what I do. This is the important part. This block right here. Comparing the color sensor's red value to the color sensor's blue value. This is the most important line in this presentation. Hello, here I will run the op mode I just produced for you on our phone because I clicked on the autonomous button at the top and set it to autonomous rather than teleop. It is available in the select autonomous menu. When I hit init, it goes to this screen. Oh, I know what I did. So, let's fix that. Let's fix that problem I caused. Let's see. Here we go. So every time you call telemetry, you also need to update telemetry. So we go utilities, telemetry, and we need to call a telemetry.update. We'll make a duplicate of this, and we'll put it up here under our other telemetry call. So another thing I like to do is I like to have a thing that tells you what team and location you picked before you actually hit the go button, which is further down, just like I thought. So we need to put these right here after this while where we figure out the location, and then we will wait for the start here. Of course, we need another telemetry.update because we are adding something to telemetry. Let's save this and run it again. So here we are again. Let's test it, see if it works. So we'll hit init, and we get press B for the red team. So I will hold start, press A to select which phone I am. See up there at the top where it says user 1, there's a little controller over that, meaning that is in fact the active controller. And I will press B for red, and I will press Y to say I am far from the relic map. And now I will hit play, and it should work. And it did. And it ran the compliant wheels one way. And I will reset it. Again, pick red. Flip this around. And we should see the compliant wheel spin the other way. And it did. Thank you for watching, and I hope to talk to you later.